Steve here has been crushing it with online arbitrage while I'm killing myself driving Lyft. He calls me last week and he goes, I made more today than you make driving a 10-hour shift. No. And I was like, motherfucker, you need to teach me this shit.
Well, actually, I've got four computer screens here that our lovely viewers can't see. But on one screen, I've got everything that I've purchased. On another, the things that I'm researching. On another screen, I'm watching the website. And then I got you on this bottom screen. So that's not doing anything right now for me. But I can tell you that today so far, I have purchased items that after sold should do about $350 today.
Yeah, so, and we have not talked about online arbitrage that much, but Steve has been slowly building up his inventory, or I would say quickly building up his inventory, and he's been kind of keeping me in the loop and doing this and doing that. In the beginning, I thought, dude, I got the better gig because I'm out there crushing it with Lyft, making like $5,000 a month, and he's trying to figure all this stuff out and buy this software and do this, and he's just sitting in front of his computer. And he's, got all this stuff in the sales pipeline, not really making much. But now all of a sudden, 2.5 months later, all the work that he's been putting into it in the beginning is now all starting, inventory is all starting to sell. And he quickly is getting to the point now where he's able to make more profit, not necessarily, not revenue, where a lot of these guys talk about, I made all this revenue. He's actually at the point where he's starting to make more profit per day than is even possible for me to make, driving my ass off with Lyft. So now all of a sudden I'm interested. Tell me more, Steve.
Well, let me tell you this.
Yeah, that was the thing I picked up at Walmart the very first day we got this idea. That was one of the things I tried to sell. We sold 3 of them. One of them got returned.
Well, unfortunately, the camera won't focus on it that well, but I noticed today that this box has never been opened. It just got returned. I guess they just got it and didn't like it. There's a little return slip in it. So I have to look again on Amazon to see if there's any hope for maybe relisting this thing. Otherwise, I might send it back.
I thought you said it was ripped.
Well, the box right here has a little tiny rip in it.
Hey, Scotch tape on the inside. That would fix it.
Yeah, I mean, the tape on the top of the box has never been opened.
Well, I bought 4 of those things when I was actually physically at Walmart when we first got this idea about this whole retail arbitrage, and then quickly learned that retail arbitrage sucks, but online arbitrage is far superior. And I bought 4 of those on clearance for $5 a piece, and you sold all 4 of them on Amazon, FBA, for was like 25. Is that what you sold them for? About 25, 24, 25.
And it is a classic example of, so Walmart put all these things on clearance. I don't know how many of the thousands and thousands of Walmart stores had them on clearance, but as soon as we got them in, the number of other sellers was going up, 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 driving the price down, down, down. So it eventually got to a point where it wasn't worth dealing with them anymore, but I'll have to check and see what the price is doing right now.
Do you remember what the price was? Do you remember what the price was when we first bought them and you were going to list them? Remember what some dude was selling those suckers for? And I was like, no way.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
It was like $80, $78. It was like $78 or something. And these are stupid little South Park, like just cheapy toys. It almost gives the impression like you can watch episodes of South Park on there, but it's just little clips, and there's like, I don't know, 6 clips in there, 7 clips. It's just like a novelty kind of a thing, right? Where you'd get bored with it after 30 seconds. And somebody was selling these suckers for like $80, and we sold them for $24, $25, and one of them got returned. So we sold 4, out of the 4 people, one of them was like, this shit ain't worth $25, and sent it back.
Well, they were probably right too.
Oh, they were right. I would be suspect paying $5 for them, which is what I paid for them.
So there is ample opportunity both in retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. Here is what I've learned on the journey. The first month was, every month has been a learning experience. The first month was incredibly painful because almost everything that I did was a mistake. Luckily, I have only sold, out of all the products I've sold on Amazon, I've only sold 2 for a very small loss. I think like 40 cents and 14 cents. So I've been doing okay. The items that I purchased retail arbitrage, when I went to the store and I used the scanner, the Amazon scanner like you have, those actually have done very well. In fact, you slide over here. I have a box of clearance items that I bought at Office Supply Store that I haven't listed yet, but these things have done like 200% return. The only problem, or the big problem with retail arbitrage is it is entirely inefficient. Now, if you go to Marshalls and Ross and other places that people go, you can buy clothing and shoes, but those things have like a 20% return rate, and my goal is not to make a 10% return on investment. My goal is to make 100% return on investment. And so I don't want to deal with sending lots and lots of stuff. Yeah. So clothing is not that attractive to me. Health and beauty, makeup and that kind of stuff, perfume has enormous markups, but unfortunately it is classified as a hazmat item, I guess because, all that alcohol in it makes it flammable. But it takes, there's a long waiting list to get on the hazmat approval. So those are out. And the initial months have been fought with fighting to get brand approval and selling things. Like I'm now approved very soon, hopefully this week, to sell Funko toys and Lego and Nintendo. So those are big hurdles to get into. Damon, you've seen these videos. I remember when we shared them initially, you sent me the video of the guy going into some store and on a skateboard going over to the UPS store making, what did he claim, 100,000 a month or something like that?
I just said I make 250,000. I think he didn't say in what time frame.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is total BS. Obviously, he's pushing a course or something like that because that is entirely unrealistic. However, as a side hustle, I can't speak for everybody. I can talk about the way that I have approached it and done it, which is very structured, testing things, learning from my mistakes, and moving on. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if 12 months from now, I wasn't doing $1 million a year in sales.
Now clarify that for people.
$1 million in sales on Amazon, which would return about $500,000 if I keep my current target.
What?
Well, my target is 100% return on investment. So
repeat that, please.
Which part?
The $500,000 in profit by the end of the year.
Well, like I said, my target is 100% return on investment. So if something costs me $10, I want to make sure that I get $10 in profit back. That means I get $20 back, 10 of which is profit. So I'm essentially doubling my money that I invest. So if you do $1 million...
So let's pause it here for a second, do a couple of shameless plugs, because no matter how much I drive on any rideshare app, any gig app, I'm nowhere getting near $500,000. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen, but here's the plug. This is a brand new channel. We've only been doing it a couple of months, but there's clearly going to be some gold nuggets that we're going to be uncovering on ways to make money at least over the next year or so. So make sure to like, subscribe to our channel. Right now, we're not selling any courses. And I say right now because I'm not going to rule out when we get really, really good, we might put together some courses and sell it. But right now, you can get all this shit for free. We are putting it on YouTube. Steve's going through the process. When he started talking the numbers after just 2 months that he's pulling down now, after just 2 months, I said, okay, that stuff sounded really boring to me, but it's sounding much more interesting now. So what we're going to do, starting the beginning of the year, Steve is going to teach me step by step. I'm totally green. I've never even looked at online arbitrage. All I know about it is the stuff Steve's been telling me about what he's doing, but I've never done it. I've never bought a single thing. I don't have any software. I don't even know what software you're supposed to get. My eyes glaze over when he talks about that stuff. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be kind of doing calls like this with some screen shares. And starting next year, he's going to start taking me step by step of all the stuff that he's learned in the last 2 months and the things that he will continue to learn. And he's going to show a total newbie what software I need, what things I need to look for, warn me of all the pitfalls, all the money that, not a lot. He hasn't lost a lot of money, but he's made a few mistakes. But overall, he's doing really well. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, and you can just watch all this stuff unfold in real time and see how we do and get all this information for free that eventually we'll probably put together in a course and sell. But right now, because we're new, you get lucky. You get to get in on the ground floor of this rocket ship. So subscribe and pay attention. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well, because he's going to be giving you all the nuggets where he just said we might not hit $500,000 in profit, but that's his goal. What if he's a little bit short and he only makes $250,000? Holy shit, hit the subscribe button for a potential chance to learn how to make $250,000, $500,000. Hell, even if he only makes $100,000. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree.
I'm excited.
Now, every day has been a learning experience. And one of the things that I have learned along the way is you have to make good investments in software and technology to help you make really good decisions. So, for example, not that long ago, I was approved with a wholesale marketplace that sells toys and audio, music stuff, and DVDs. And they send me a spreadsheet each week that shows me all the products they have in stock and what my price is on those. Well, using a new tool, software tool, I am now able to scan that entire list, which was about 5,000 products. So it scanned it in about 15 minutes, and on the screen here in front of me, I have a list of about 50 of those items where the minimum return on investment is 100% and the maximum is 481%. And so I'm not wasting my time on anything else but just back ordering and trying to source these items. So the key that I have found is, and this is why I'm not a big fan of retail arbitrage, is because the key that I have found is the number one thing you need to get good at and do is source items. If you could walk into your local store, Damon, and you could pick up, 15 things that were going to return you a good profit, that's one thing. But that just really doesn't happen. And I don't want to go up and down the aisles at, Payless or DSW or whatever shoe stores are out there and scanning things. That is a waste of time. So if you can focus on really narrowing your target. But here's the thing, Damon, that I talk about a wholesale relationship that I have, but all my purchases up till now have not been from wholesale purchases, places. They've been from Barnes & Noble, Staples, every other store out there, Macy's, Kohl's. So it's about searching the items. The only way you can do that is by having a piece of software that can help you find them, and just go hunting. There's not a shortage of opportunity. In fact, I just came across an address of an Amazon seller who happens to be located right near me. They're doing $252,000 a month in Amazon sales. So
should I fly out there and take him to lunch?
yeah. Well, I looked. There's like 6 near you. So,
Hell! Fuck, screw lunch. Let's do dinner. But steak dinner. Take him to steak dinner. How you doing?
Well, it's good to find a mentor. There are all sorts of approaches to doing this. I was watching, and there are all sorts of other YouTubers out there that have information about arbitrage. Mm-hmm. And so don't feel like what I'm saying alone is the gospel truth for everybody. There's a million different approaches to doing this, and you have to find the one that works best for you. However, I'm looking forward to sharing what I've learned, and I'm really looking forward to teaching Damon how to get started and what to do. You might hear out there are people who say, you can start with $300 or $500 or whatever. I have a credit card that I use only for making purchases, and I think the limit this month was $17,000. And I am right up against the limit for the next couple days till that gets paid off. The only thing that's holding me back right now is just enough credit to make purchases, to get the things ordered, to get them to Amazon, to get them sold, to get the money to pay it off. There's like a 60 or 90 day float period between the time you first buy something and the time you finally get your money from Amazon. So starting with $300, I mean, sure, you can do that. You could probably double it, but you'll be sitting for 3 months waiting for the $600 to come back.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people need to realize when you're thinking about buying a course. It's the new year, so you're thinking, how can I make more money? I got to get out of debt, whatever it is. And you see these courses, you're like, I'm going to buy this course on FBA, and I'm going to be an Amazon business. And you really need to understand that this is not a good side hustle for somebody that is struggling to pay rent next month or it needs cash now. This is not a business that's going to get you cash now. Doesn't mean you can't start learning about it now, in the background. But if you need cash now, that's when you need to start looking at some of the other things that we're doing, like a Lyft or an Uber or a DoorDash or something where you can literally just grab your phone, jump in your car, and go make $100 by the end of the day. So those are things that you can do now. Yeah, exactly. So you can do that now. In fact, if you don't absolutely need the money, but you don't have extra money, and you really want to start learning this FBA thing, especially with Steve talking about maybe profiting $500,000 by the end of the year, you can start doing some of these things like driving and delivering and taking whatever extra money you're earning from those side hustles and setting it aside to build up inventory for FBA and really ramp it up. Because like Steve said, if you only start with $300, even if you, or $500 or even $1,000, if you kill it and you make 100% return on that, great. You got $1,000. Now you got $2,000. Well, if you need that money and you spend that $1,000 profit, you're still stuck with only $1,000 you can make every 3 months. There's a limit. So you can't take money away from that business. You got to leave it in there. So you start with 1,000, you make 1,000. Now you have $2,000. Now you need to go buy $2,000 worth of inventory, and then you make 3 or 4. But now you got to go buy 3 or 4. Even starting with 1,000, you can see how if the sales process is 60 to 90 days, you can only flip inventory maybe 4 times, during the year. And if you're only starting with 1,000, you might get to the very end of the year and still you make $10,000 by the end of the year. And that's great from 1,000. Nobody's going to argue that, but that's not, live on money, but if you're starting with 10,000 or 15,000 or can quickly build up to 10, 15, 20,000, where you can get to the point where you're rolling over $25,000 to $50,000 a month in inventory. And I know that seems mind blowing to a lot of people, but that's the only way you're going to be able to get to, like what Steve's talking about, $250,000 or $50 or $200 or $500,000 a year. You're going to be spending a whole bunch of money every month, and it's always going to be kind of rotating through. So if you start with $300-400, it's going to take forever to get there.
Well, you'll have a very small business. You'll have a sideline business,
a little side hustle.
Like if you wanted to start selling, well, I don't know if we can't see it. Behind me, there's a stack of Lego that I've got a list since I'm now approved to sell that. If you wanted to focus on that as a new seller, it is entirely possible. You're first going to have to buy at least 10 units from a recognized distributor or wholesaler. and then you're going to have to provide the receipts to Amazon to show that you're qualified. Then they have to approve you. So none of this happens in the first month. But there is no mystery, like I said before, about where you can go out and buy things. Watch sales, get coupons, get cashback deals. eBay is a really good place to find new items for sale and relist them on Amazon. I've actually purchased items on Amazon and relisted them for a higher price to make a price. So, there's an endless supply of places where you can buy things. Now, when you start out, you might want to start out in something that you know. For me, that's technology. And then once you do that and you've kind of explored the market that you're comfortable with, then one of the approaches is to go wide instead of deep, meaning don't focus just on one category, focus on what gets you the return. I have such an eclectic range of things that I purchase. I'm looking at my list now. DVD series.
He purchases some weird off-the-wall stuff.
Yeah. Liberty Kids, the complete series. And then a bunch of albums, of course, I've never heard of before. Lonerism. And it just Godzilla. I bought 2 Godzillas.
The movies or like action figures?
Oh, they're 30-inch tall action figures. So and
Steve. So and let me just clarify too. When Steve talks about retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, what he's talking about is retail arbitrage is when you're actually physically going into a store, scanning items, trying to find something,
yes,
buying them, coming home, listing them, packaging them, trying to listing them, all that stuff, right? Steve is not going to do that. That's not in his forte. Our original idea was I was going to do that because I like to shop, and then Steve would do all the technology stuff behind it. But most of the stuff that I bought at the store looked like a good deal, and they just flopped. In fact, I had to return most of our initial inventory. But that started Steve on a journey of, well, is there an easier way to source products? Because clearly this is the problem. We're not sourcing the right products, and it's not a very efficient way to source those products. So that led him to online arbitrage, which led him to the software and led him to all these things. And 2 months later, he's got $17,000 in inventory floating out there, most of which is like at 75 to 100% rate of return. And now all of a sudden we went from, remember our initial impressions were retail arbitrage sucks. It's not going to work and it's bogus and it just doesn't make any sense, to just 2 months later, it's like, holy shit, this is something where we can make several $100,000 next year. So I'm telling you, subscribe to this channel. We have no course. We will do a course in the future, I am sure. But right now, you're going to get to see Steve in real time as he's figuring this stuff out and teaching me. You're going to get so much good information from that for free. All we're charging you is a click. We want you to subscribe. That's the fee. You subscribe, you hit the notifications, we'll take you along for the ride. Right? Shameless plug. There you go. Subscribe, damn it.
Questions. Click the bell, but most importantly, ask questions, put them in the comments, and we'll answer them in the next video and address them. So, Damon, finding things is a real thrill. When you find an item that's a perfect thing to buy, gives you a good rate of return on your investment. And I was looking up at the monitor because on Christmas Day, I made 9 purchases. And so the average rate of return, now sometimes if something's going to sell fast, I will go below my 100%. But on Christmas Day, the purchases I made these are the rate of return on investment. 105, 101, 114, 114, 80, 80, 80, 60, 90. Yep. So you're going to have 100% rate of return and 60 to 90 days. Where else are you going to put your money? It's going to give you potentially 100% rate of return 60 to 90 days. Now, all these products might not be home runs. Some of them might only be 50%. We're still learning too. We're not pros. But the nice thing about what we're doing here, we'll show you the failures too. I mean, we're not selling you a course.
So we don't have to like pretend like we are the gurus that know everything. We're just like, hey, come along for the ride. We'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and take away from it what you will. So subscribe, damn it, if you haven't already.
Well, here's the funny thing, Damon. I watch videos and read stuff, and even people who've been doing this for a decade are always learning something new every month, and always trying to make their business better. So everybody is always learning. The key advice is when you first start out, just minimize your potential losses. Start slow. We're going to show you how. And I'd like to take a little segue, Damon, and talk for a second about our potential Roadie experiment. So this is another side hustle. I really hope that I can do it with you this week, and we're both going to do it on the same day. I threw my back out, and I'm doing the best I can just to sit here. So I don't know about being able to do it, but I think it's important for us to do a Roadie experiment where we actually show what can you really do if you're just doing Roadie for, let's say, 4 hours, because I doubt we'll be able to do it for a whole day. In 4 hours, how many times can you apply for a gig, get approved, make a delivery, and what's that return actually like? Roadie is perfect for some people. It's not perfect for you. It's barely perfect for me. And I don't know what the future is going to be for Roadie, but I enjoyed the last one, the only one that I did, which was go to the store, pick up the bag, drive to somebody's house, throw it on the front porch, take a picture, get paid. I enjoyed that. But problems with Roadie are getting gigs, being approved, and here's the big thing with Roadie. Now, I just talked about with online arbitrage. The thing you really have to prioritize and think about is your time. Where do I need to invest my time in order to get the highest rate of return? With selling on Amazon, that certainly isn't pulling those things out of that bag I just showed you. It's sitting here and putting labels on them and putting them in a box and sending them to Amazon. That's a waste of time. That's why I now have a prep house that does that. Roadie is a good example of it's got that big time-wasting thing built into it, where you have to raise your hand to apply for a gig and then sit and wait and see if you get approved. And then once you're done with that, you have to do the same thing for the next gig. I'm not a fan of that either. Don't get me wrong, Damon. I am not a fan of that.
Sounds like you're coming around to my way of thinking.
Well, you are not really. I understand you want to constantly keep moving, make everything that you're doing the next money making opportunity. Whether it's you do a Roadie and then there's no lift available, so you grab a DoorDash, and I mean you're smart about putting these things together and maximizing your income. That just would not be for me, and I will never do as well with Roadie or DoorDash or any of those things as I feel that I can with online arbitrage. That's me.
Yeah, and just a quick background. Roadie's one of those delivery apps that we're testing that we've kind of written off, and we've decided to give it one more last shot and just do like a Roadie day and spend several hours and just really see, can we make money? I mean, at best, I think it's going to be a side gig to your main gig. I don't, at least in my area of Phoenix, I don't see how there's going to be even enough deliveries for me to make it my main gig. But we wanted to give it a try. Plus, a little behind the scenes, for whatever reason, the video we did on Roadie has taken off and has gotten a ton of views. So we just were, as a brand new channel with only 160 subscribers, we're like, either there's a lot of people interested in Roadie or nobody's really talking about it, but for whatever reason, we've gotten way more views on that Roadie video than any other video we've done. So we're like, let's do another video on Roadie. Okay.
And what do you think the lead in this title is going to be?
Amazon Roadie, whatever.
No, it's going to be talking about Roadie, Amazon.
Yeah. Either way, subscribe, damn it. We're trying to get to 1,000. Oh, because, I mean, this YouTube channel is also a side hustle that we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out different ways. You know, I'm boosting the different videos on Facebook. It's very cheap to do. And I'm actually very surprised how many clicks, how many views we're getting on the videos that I'm boosting. I'm spending like $14 boosting a video, and I'm getting a few hundred views on those videos for $14 on a Facebook boost. It's like, if you're going to spend any amount of time building a YouTube channel, you got to throw $20-$40 at that. If it's a halfway decent video, throw a little bit of money at it and get it jump, because it's like pushing a car, YouTube, right? You got to get views. And if you just throw videos out there and just let it sit, it can happen, but it takes forever. Why not for $20? You can get a few hundred views to start the video. You know, it's to me, it's worth it. So yeah, we're just looking at what people are watching and boosting those suckers, and then doing more content around those subjects.
Well, here's the thing that unites all of those ideas, whether it's Roadie, Amazon selling, building a YouTube channel. You can't give up. It is extremely frustrating to keep slogging along every day, feeling like you're getting nowhere, and you've got to pick something and just realize this is going to be a long distance run. This is not a sprint. So be smart about what you do, but don't expect immediate returns. You're going to be disappointed and quit the day before you would have started to succeed. So
yeah,
stick at it.
Here's the secret. If you need money now, subscribe to the channel. Follow me. Check out. Have I mentioned you should subscribe? It's a smart thing to do. So
you're like a YouTube pimp.
Hey, whatever works. Follow me on these gigs that I'm testing, the Amazon Flex, the Lyft, the Uber Eats, the DoorDash. You can get money now. I made $6,000 my first month driving Lyft, okay? If you need money now, you got to pay rent, you've got debt. Start looking at some of these apps, some of these gig apps. You can get money now. Now, as you're doing that and you're taking care of your needs for today, start looking at, okay, this is just trading time for money. I don't want to be a Lyft driver for 20 years. That's not my goal here, right? So that's just the goal is to get money now. And then while you're doing that, while you're waiting for the next ride, you can have your phone or your iPad and you can, subscribe to this channel so you can watch us also talk about Amazon FBA and some of these. Yeah, you could be sitting there learning. You could be learning what we're doing with the FBA. You can start implementing some of that stuff, buying stuff. You could be working on your future while you're making money now. So that's why there's never just one thing you should be doing, but you should, in order to figure out how to put it all together, subscribe to the damn channel. It's easy.
And you know what, Damon? Here's the difference. You were just recently on vacation, and you weren't able to do any of those side gigs, right?
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked.
Yeah. I was recently on vacation. I was on a cruise ship buying things
you were
to send to the prep house to send to Amazon for sale. So there is no shortage of opportunity. Damon, this is a thing that you and I have talked about, drives us both crazy, is people who say, there's nothing I can do. It's not going to work. You know, I can't make any extra money. There are no side gigs that are going to help me, which is bullshit. It's about changing your attitude, finding a smart way to do it, cracking the code on whatever the side hustle is that you're doing. You know, you can make reasonable money with DoorDash. Don't listen to all the people that say that it sucks and everything else. You have to get smart about what jobs you're accepting, what things you're going to deliver.
Yeah.
You have to get smart about what Lyft rides you accept. And you just have to think about, how am I going to maximize my income, instead of just going, nobody's giving me anything. It's not going to work. Yeah.
Yeah. Lyft's scamming me. They're stealing driver money and blah, blah, blah. What was that email I sent you? Lyft sent me an email over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
I still don't even know what it was, but the email basically was like, we're sorry, there was a mistake in the software, and you were shorted $90. I didn't even know, but Lyft just deposited $90 into my account because they caught an error apparently. And I watched this stuff pretty good. So I'm actually going to call Lyft because I'm curious what it was, because you know how I am. I mean, I'm staring at that damn thing like all the time. Here's my bonus. Here's this. Here's that. I feel like I would have caught like a $90 error that I was expecting. And I don't know what it is. It was just, here's $90. You know, the company's totally ripping me off. Just wanted to give me $90. It's in my bank account. They just sent me an email and automatically sent it to me. Here's $90. So yeah, and even if you're, DoorDash doesn't pay enough or Lyft doesn't pay enough, even if it's not paying as much as you think you're worth now, it's something. What's the what are you going to be doing if you're not driving? If you're just going to be sitting there watching TV, everybody has 24 hours. Say you're going to sleep for 8 of them and you're going to work for 8 of them. You got your job. That's still 8 more hours. You can take all 8, 6, 4, 2, whatever you want. Go make something extra. $20 an hour might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot if the alternative was you were going to make 0. So go make that $20 an hour. Work for what you think is below what you're worth now, while you're taking the time to learn how to do something else like FBA or whatever else it is that can make you more money in the future, so you can get to the point that you're not having to trade time for dollars. That's the point. You don't want to trade time for dollars your whole life, only while you have to, right?
Right, exactly. All right, hey, let's leave it on that. Damon, it has been a pleasure talking to you again now that we're both back from vacation. And I really look forward to sharing all this information with you and our viewers. And in case Damon hasn't mentioned it, maybe you should think about subscribing. Yeah. All right, man. See ya.
Peace.